Today we're going to be fixing this chair. It's an office chair. It's got an upgraded aluminum base and some nice rollerblade style wheels, which is great. But there's one problem with it. When you sit in it, it makes a ton of noise. Here, I'll show you. So I have the chair all the way down. You get a lot of popping noises. It's actually been worse than that in the past. What I've realized though is if I put the chair all the way up, noises are gone. So I think the cylinder's bad. This Office Owl kit is going to be what we're using today. So it has the little welcome card, some instructions, it's got the actual cylinder, it's got some tools, and what those are for I'll show you in a second. It's got some white gloves because, you know, why not? Even branded. And here's what the tools are for. These two little rings. So these rings are designed to go around the shaft of the chair, and then you put some bolts in there and you tighten them up and eventually try and pop the cylinder out of the chair base. So we're going to give that a try in a second. So here I have both rings on. This one is loose, this one is loose. They're just loosely clamped on here. This one is supposed to be loose so it can slide. I'll put that at the top. This one I'm going to tighten down just under it so that I can start putting force against it towards pushing that top part off. So I'm going to slide this up to touch it. All right, so these gloves that they include are really kind of cool. They're a anti-slip grip, like the whole thing's kind of a rubber surface. They don't feel overly sturdy, like I feel like they'd be good for this job and then I might tear them doing something else, but they're really great for this, for grip. So I've got this pretty much tightened down. I'm gonna give it a couple more cranks because if this thing slides, it defeats the whole purpose. No, that's tight. Okay. So I did extend all of the way out and slid this down so I had room to work. I'm gonna put these other two bolts into the bottom one here so that it pushes against the top one. So there's a spot on the side where those go in. And I will get those threaded and then start pushing, and we'll see if we can't pop off this top chair. You might want to draw a line on here so that when you see, if you still see that line, you know that this piece isn't moving. Mine I saw physically moving down, so I really cranked on this again, like tons of pressure, and it was looser than when I first started. So I was able to tighten that down a little more. Now I think I might be seeing progress, so I am doing a couple turns on each side. So that it's evenly, this is really loose now. Wow. So that it's evenly pressing either side. I'm looking at this little dot right there. If I see that dot disappear, then we know that the collar is slipping. Let's see if I can pull this apart. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Let's see if that comes out. Oh yeah. Boom. Neat little tool. I'd say definitely I could see how that could be hit or miss. Like, you got to really crank that bottom on for that to do anything, or else it's going to slide. It's just, I mean, it's all this grease and everything on here. It's designed to not stick. So, yeah, that's a chore. Now, their instructions actually say, do this part last, that the first thing should be you separate the base from this. But because I know this is really jammed on here and I'm going to have to hammer this thing, I have different plans. So I went to do this step first, and I'll show you what our next plan is. Also, benefit to the gloves. You can see these are dirtier than you'd think they'd be. Okay, so I've taken off the rings. I'm gonna hang on to those things for future chair maintenance, but I'm gonna slide off these plastic collars. We don't need these anymore, or at least not for this cylinder. I'll set those aside. So now I have, here's the old cylinder in this 2-inch base, which is standard size. I need to get this out of here. I'm gonna turn it upside down into this 5-gallon bucket, which gives me a couple inches of clearance at the bottom. and I'm gonna hit this with a rubber mallet. Now, as any good mechanic knows, if it doesn't get solved with a hammer, sometimes the solution is a bigger hammer. So we're gonna go rubber. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna beat it with this hand sledge, and it's only in there by friction, so it should pop out. They give you instructions that you can take this clip out. If you do, this cylinder is gonna come apart in halves, and it's a very greasy, nasty mess. All the fluid and everything that's in there is liable to come out. So I'm gonna try and keep this out in one piece. Let's see what happens. Well, doesn't like that hammer. One hit. Sometimes you just need a bigger hammer. And there it is. Okay, here's the new one. We're gonna drop it in, pressure fit. Do take off the plastic cap. If you do not, your height adjustment will not work. This is a protective cap for shipping. This is what lets it go up and down. Don't forget your cover. If you want this on, put that back on. And then we're gonna set this chair back on here. Just again, pressure fits that to there. So let me lift that up. All right, there it is. Let's give it a test. Full faith. Seat it down in there, shake it a bit. No noise. No noise. Let's raise it up. Bounce it, it works. Let's come back down. Perfect. That's all there is to it.